Today we're going to learn a quick and easy way to make bone broth. If you haven't watched my previous video, go back and look at how to chop up a whole chicken. That way you will have the chicken carcass needed for today's recipe. So we've already got the chicken carcass in the Instant Pot. Next, you're going to need 2 to 3 carrots, 2 to 3 pieces of celery, some parsley, a little bit of fresh thyme, a garlic, an onion, and 1 teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the carrots. These don't need to be chopped anyway special. I'm actually just gonna cut huge chunks and just then throw them straight into the Instant Pot the way that they are. Same with the celery. This recipe is pretty easy peasy. Take these big pieces of celery, throw them into the pot. Parsley, don't need to do anything to that. Throw that in the pot. Everything is already pre-rinsed. I rinsed this thyme earlier when I was using it. You're gonna throw in a few sprigs. I kind of throw in usually about a handful of thyme. The garlic, you're going to leave the peel on and you're going to cut that in half. Once you have the garlic cut in half, you're going to throw that into the Instant Pot. Same thing with the onion. You're going to cut it in half and then just toss the onion in the way that it is. All right, and then we need 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of pepper. All right, so now we have all the ingredients in the Instant Pot. You're going to go ahead and look for that max line. Fill your water up to about 1 centimeter below. Once you've got your pot filled with water up to a little bit below the max fill line, you're gonna go ahead and put on the lid. Make sure it is sealed. And then you are going to go ahead and set it to high pressure for 1 hour. Make sure that you turn off this keep warm button. When the hour of high pressure cooking is done, you're going to press the pressure cook button and switch it to low pressure. Make sure that you do not release the valve in between. You're going to cook on high pressure for 1 hour, low pressure for 1 hour, and then let it naturally release. Do not open the valve. After the Instant Pot has naturally released for 30 minutes at the end of all of the cooking, then you can remove the lid. After that timer goes off, I'm going to hit the valve to let the steam out, and then I'm going to let the Instant Pot sit overnight with the lid open. That way the broth can cool down before I put it into jars. All right, it is the next day and my bone broth is cooled. You're going to need a strainer, some jars or containers to hold your bone broth, and a bowl to catch the broth in. I prefer one with a spout so that I can pour the broth into the jars. It is up to you on how you want to store your broth. I prefer to put it into glass jars, let them cool in the fridge for a while with the lid loosely fitted, and then I will actually put them in the freezer to store them and use throughout the month. However, if you are putting glass jars in the freezer, you'll want to leave at least 1 inch to 1.5 inches of space at the top with the loose fitting lid. That way your jars do not expand and explode in the freezer. It is up to you how you want to store them. I usually freeze and thaw. Here's what our bone broth looks like right now. We're going to go ahead and ladle that out and strain it through our strainer to put into jars. All right, so I've got about 32 ounces of bone broth here, and I've already filled 3 jars with 24 ounces each. I'm gonna keep filling up all 5 jars. Typically 16 ounces of bone broth costs $5. And so we are definitely saving a lot of money here. So we've got 5 24-ounce jars of bone broth. And not only did you not spend $5 per 16 ounces, but you also got to pick the ingredients that went in here. I was able to put organic chicken bones. I was able to put in the different veggies that I wanted. And so you get to filter what is in your food. Like I said, make sure you leave at least 1 inch to 1.5 inches of space. I also put the lids on loosely. That way they just have some space to expand in the freezer. They've already cooled overnight out here to room temperature, but I'm gonna let them cool in the fridge, then I'll place them in the freezer. I'll freeze them and then take them out and thaw them as I need. I hope this video was helpful. Feel free to comment any questions that you might have. Please like and subscribe so that you can see more videos like this. I'm going to be posting some future videos on ways to save money in your home and also continue to live sustainably.